And she actually said to me, she goes, actually, now that I'm reflecting with you, Jay, she goes, I've only been all in for 12 months. So even though in her head, she felt like she'd been doing it for 15 years, when she actually reflected, she was like, actually, I've only really gone all in for 12 months. And I would really recommend that you measure whatever you're receiving based on when you went all in, not how long you've been studying a subject, not how long you've been thinking about it.
That's actually a really great point, because even when I was working on the beauty corporate side of the beauty industry, it wasn't until I started working on product development for that company, I was doing product development, that made me feel like, wait, like maybe I don't have to go to business school. Maybe I can start this beauty brand, and maybe this company is my business school, and maybe I don't have to go that specific set path that I thought, like I had steps pieced out for me. And it was those, I would say, yeah, like 12 a year, that last year of working in the beauty industry that made me feel a little more confident that like, maybe my path is gonna be a little bit different. And so again, when that video went viral and I did it, it was like, to me, I never thought, quote unquote, being a beauty influencer would ever be a part of my job description. Like, I'm a businesswoman. I had that ego. I thought about my parents. What are they gonna tell their friends? Like, oh, my daughter's a YouTuber. What does that even mean? Every moment of the experience of being a beauty influencer had to happen for me to be able to build this, what Live Tinted stands for today.
I love that.
It's all steps, you know? It's just like one by one by one.
Yeah, and we have to see it that way, in the sense that and I'm sure you can, I'm listening to your story right now and I can see so many parallels with mine.
I know, I always feel that way whenever we're talking.
Yeah, and I'm literally going right now, I'm like, there were times when it looked like everything was falling apart, but I had to go through that.
Yeah.
And I had to go through every one of those, and I wouldn't be anywhere close to who I am as a person or where things are for us without all those moments.
And I think you're so scrappy in the sense that, like, I was just talking to your team out there and they were saying how if everyone was gone and it was just you still doing this, you would be just as successful because you've done it before by yourself. So you would make it happen anyways. And I think about that. I'm like, yes, now I have people on my team and they help me grow quicker and stronger, and I feel mentally better, and I now take care of myself because I have that support system. But I also know how to film a YouTube video. I know how to upload that video, and I know how to be a businesswoman. And I think those skills of being able to have to do it ourselves helped shape us into like work as hard as we do now.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I didn't even have a team until like 3 months ago. Like it's been so recent.
Yeah.
And people are still surprised that I do all my Instagram comments and I reply to everyone.
I also don't get that, by the way.
And I'm like, all my Facebook comments, like it's me. And I believe that if you want to grow something, you can't outsource it.
Yeah.
Right? You just can't. If you truly want to grow something, you can't just give it away to someone.
Yeah.
Right? You have to be involved to some degree. Of course, you can have a plan and you can have a team and you can have agencies. But I know that a lot of people have this belief that when I find the manager or the agent, my life will be solved.
Absolutely.
And I felt that for a long time. I used to look at people being successful and I used to think, oh, they must have an amazing manager. They must have an amazing agent.
Totally.
And all I can honestly say, and I think Deepak is highlighting this too, which is what's inspiring me to say, is just that you are your best cheerleader. You are your best support. You are your best everything. Don't rely or hope to find someone who's going to save and change your life.
And that will never change, no matter how successful you are. Right now, I'm going through the fundraising process, and you have this mentor, and our mutual friend, Payal Kadakia, she obviously went through it too, and she told me, like, this doesn't change your life. When you get fundraising and you get investors involved, that does not make your life easier. It quite frankly complicates it all. And I think that's important for people to hear, because there's this glorified idea you see, especially right now, women in tech fundraising, and it's like, wow, she raised all this money. It is a beautiful thing that finally women are getting to do that. However, what I've now learned through going through this process is it adds more voices, more responsibilities, and it doesn't mean that you have less to worry about. It has more people you have to answer to. So I think something I'm learning is now my job has just shifted from growing the team rather than like me focusing on doing the work. But what I think we both probably have problems with this is like letting go and letting other people do it. But I think you're so right. There's some things that I will never let go of.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
And that's important.
Of course it is.
It's you that's building this. And I think anyone who lets go of that is letting go of, I think, the strongest strength that a business has.
Absolutely. So now tell us about this. You have this incredible life as a vlogger, a creator, a beauty influencer.
Yeah.
But for you, you always wanted to do more. And I don't mean more in terms of better, because people are happy doing what makes them happy.
Yeah.
But for you, it was always about business. You were always a businesswoman who became an influencer, but really had set your sights on being the CEO of this incredible brand. So tell me about that transition of moving away from this amazing thing you've built that's already working and it's already going great. But then you saying, no, I actually want to create something that's going to shift the culture, because that's what I think you're doing with Live Tinted.
Thank you.
Like you're really trying to shift culture and break down barriers and change the way things are perceived. So tell me about that transition.
I still remember being 16 and going down like a drugstore aisle and seeing no beauty products that worked for me and no women that looked like me. And I think that it's crazy. You know, you have these flashback memories of your childhood. That's one that I will never forget. And I think it still lives on with me today. So when I quit my job to go be a beauty influencer, and you know, this is gonna be hard for people to believe, but in my core, it was nothing about the fame. And quite frankly, I am so excited that with Live Tinted, I get to be more behind the scenes and stuff. But it was the idea that I got to finally be the face of beauty brand campaigns, so that girls growing up today are finally seeing their face in it. Like a L'Oreal commercial, a Samsung commercial. It's like, I never saw a brown girl on the TV. So to be able to build that, I think was a part of my goal and path to get to a place to change representation in the beauty industry, to see faces that I no longer saw. Because even within women of color, thank God we're finally seeing more African-American women, more Latina women. But what about everybody else? There's all these people in between that still need representation in this industry. And I felt like I fell into that too. So my goal really as a beauty influencer, and I use the quotes because I think there's everyone I know that's a beauty influencer, there's so much more to it. There's so much hustle and grind and entrepreneurial spirit than I think people realize when they just see that one YouTube video. And I think for me, it was all about changing the faces that you saw in the media. And so that's what I was doing really for the past 3 years. But then it got to a point of, when is this brand happening? And how is it gonna happen? And what is it gonna look like? And if I didn't do the beauty influencer thing for 3 years, I think I would have built a much more niche brand than my goals and path and passion for building Live Tinted. Right. And I'm so happy about it because just like you said, to me, Live Tinted is a movement first. First and foremost, more than anything, our goal is to change the representation of beauty, the faces that you see in the beauty industry. And I feel like we're doing it, man. And it feels good. And I think the biggest reason of launching this, you know, when I first started, everyone was like, why don't you just call it Deep Beauty and launch a color corrector and make it all about you and like brown girls? And there's a few reasons why. For me, it was time to build something bigger than myself. And it wasn't about just a singular voice or a singular culture identity. It was about building a home to showcase a whole range of women, a whole range of skin tones, to say, I can be exactly who I am and feel great about it. That doesn't mean that wearing makeup makes you less of like a person that feels that way. It's more of, to me, the beauty products are just a vehicle for us to share our message, to make sure that inclusion and diversity is just the standard in the beauty industry. It shouldn't be like a campaign, which is how it's being treated right now. Yeah,
that's so interesting. It shouldn't be a campaign.
It shouldn't.
Yeah, because what would that do? If it was a campaign, what are the negatives of that?
It's strategic. It feels disingenuous and it's not making real movement happen. And there's a lot of brands that you can see capitalizing on that, which it doesn't bother me because at the end of the day, at least there is a token brown girl now, right? That wasn't something that happened before and we need that progress.
It's better than nothing.
We need that progress. So even though, you know, you'll see the one brown girl in things and the one brown guy in things, that didn't exist before.